You're welcomed by the USU software team. We are engaged in the development of specialized software. We are happy to present to your attention the accounting and control program for any printing office. It can also be used by publishing houses and advertising agencies. We will demonstrate the automation of the entire technological process in a large company, from order calculation to the activities of the workshop. The company may not even need to use all the functionality, and our specialists can also adjust the program to other requirements of your company. The program is launched with a shortcut on your desktop. Then a login window appears. Each user works under an individual login, which is password protected. Also, employees can have individual access rights to see only the information that is within their authority area. Individual authority is configured for managers, designers, process specialists, as well as for the supply agent, shop foreman, and the head of the organization. We will enter the program under the main row to see all the functionality. The main work in the program is carried out in the orders module. At first, the search is displayed, which allows you to easily find the necessary orders by certain manager, execution status, date of receipt, or client. It is also possible to find the required order by its unique number within a few seconds. If you do not specify the search terms, all available data will be displayed. The test database is empty right now. To add a new order, right-click the mouse and select the Add command. First, to place an order, you need to specify the minimum of information, the customer and the type of product. Customers are selected from a single customer database and can be found quickly by the first letters of their names. The product type is also selected from the directory, where all products may be divided into categories for convenience. For example, we choose the leaflet. And now let's go into the calculation of this order. Let's specify the circulation, for example, 2000. The manager just adds the desired types of work at the bottom. First, the leaflet must be printed. Choose single-page printing. Please note that each company can set up the types of works and their names individually for its needs. We will show you where it is done in the program later. After selecting the type of work, the manager fills in the parameters. There are complex types of work, for example printing, with many parameters, and there are easy ones, where you need to enter or select only one or two values. We now fill in the printing options. You specify format in finished form, full page format, untrimmed paper page, number of pages, color of the front and back page, and so on. Note that some parameters are calculated automatically. For example, when we specify the number of impositions per run, the number of papers per run is calculated automatically. Next, we see that such parameters as paper type and size can be selected from the pre-configured lists. When everything is completed, click the button Save. You can also add another type of work, single-page folding. The amount of paper per print run will be substituted automatically from the previous setting. You specify only the number of folds. This is all the work needed to create a standard leaflet. If you want, you can specify any other types of work: UV varnish, die cutting, stamp printing, and so on. After that, when the types of work are marked, we see that the self-cost is calculated automatically. A table of possible markups is displayed on the left. It is up to the manager to decide what price to establish for the client. If the customer has asked to make a calculation for different circulation, the program can recalculate the order automatically. In this case, the manager can make notes for himself or herself right in the calculation window. After the calculation, data about the circulation and cost will appear in the other line. You can see the specification and, if necessary, print the order. All forms are issued with the logo and requisite details of your company. Please note that the calculated order may not be allowed to go into production. Many orders will be displayed only for the manager as preliminary calculations. This is evidenced by the status processed by manager. And now we will show you how you can set up the types of work. All settings are in the Directories menu. In the Production section, select the Types of Activity command. It is here that you can configure the settings that are filled in by the manager when you select a certain type of work for an order. Let's have a look at the die cutting as an example. The manager specifies number of items on the knife blade, number of bounces, ready stamp, or the one to be ordered, number of centimeters to the ordered knife blade, and value of fitting. And in the Cost of Work tab, you can adjust these parameters to calculate the cost of work, in this case of the die cutting. The names of parameters from which the values are taken are written in formulas in square brackets. There may be several price components. We see 3 lines for the die cutting. The separate amounts are calculated for work, order of the knife blade, if you need to order it, and fitting. If you do not need to calculate, you can simply not use this part of the program, and when you register your order, you can set the price yourself. Now we add a new order for a more complex, multi-page products. We will enter the order in the directory. Calculation consists of several elements. Let's first calculate the cover. Then we add the calculations for the second element, the inner block. As you can see for yourself, calculation of even the most complex products takes a minimum of your time, and specification will visually display the work of any complexity on an unlimited number of elements, as in our example with the directory. Now let's pay more attention to a single customer database. It is built on the principle of CRM, Customer Relationship Management System. If a new customer applies, you can quickly add him or her to the database with the familiar command from the context menu, Add. You can specify the manager who will work with this client and enter all the contact details. But the most interesting thing is that each manager can mark all the planned and completed work. For example, let's imagine that today you send a commercial offer to a certain client, and in a week we want to know his or her solution. You can display the work plan at any moment for the desired date. This approach will not allow you to forget about any client. Moreover, the manager can only see his or her tasks, while the head of the company controls all employees. Now let's see how the order is transferred to production. To do this, the manager assigns a unique number to the order and chooses the command pass the order. The Transmission History tab displays the entire transmission history with the employee's name and exact time. At first, we see that the order is handed over to the head of marketing. This is the employee who must check the order after it is filled by manager. The marketing manager can return the order if he or she doesn't like something, or passes it on. The order then goes to the operator, designer. The operator confirms that the necessary files from the customer have been successfully received and passes the order further through the technological chain. After that, the technologist starts working on the order. He or she works on the next Technologist Work tab. It can be filled in automatically with a special action, specifying only the original paper size. Also, the technologist can change the density of paper, its manufacturer, and any other parameters that he or she considers necessary to achieve better results. The technologist also divides the order into impositions. This is also done quickly with one more special action. At the same time, you choose a printing press. We see that for such a simple product as the leaflet, there is only one imposition. The task for the cutter is formed in the Paper Cutting tab. Since it is impossible to take into account all the work of the cutter, he or she has its own separate work plan, which is formed on any date. The technologist makes a request for the necessary materials in the Supply tab. You can fill in this list automatically. It is also possible to add any additional materials manually. If the organization has a supplier or a storekeeper, he or she can form this list of requirements in the program. Moreover, if the company keeps the warehouse records in the same program, it is possible to write off the goods from the warehouse in the Materials tab. You can work with or without barcodes. When the technologist finishes the work, he or she hands the order back to the manager to sign that everything is fine. For example, if the color of the trial print of the product layout is correct, or if there is a prepayment for this order, and etc. The status is called manager's signature. The accountant, cashier, or manager can register a prepayment or a full payment in the Payments tab. The date, amount, and method of payment are specified in cash or by bank transfer. The next stage is the Readiness Control tab. This is the last step before the order is sent to the workshop. Therefore, the responsible employee makes a final check whether everything is ready at this stage. Then the status of the order changes to in production. If you purchase a special software module, the organization will also be able to automate the work of the workshop. You will give each employee a badge with a unique barcode, and then each employee will work with the program in the workshop and note what order he or she took, when the work was started, and with what result it was finished. It is also possible to organize the work in such a way that one person, the workshop foreman, marks all the employees. Now we will show you what it looks like to work on a computer in the workshop. It's very simple. The tasks waiting to be done are on the left. Those in progress are on the right. We have just transferred a single order for the leaflet to the workshop, and we can see that the program divides the orders by types of work. And two types of work, print and folding, are not available yet, because first the work by the CTP specialist must be done. There are only 3 steps for an employee of the workshop to take a task. The first step is to hold your badge in front of the barcode scanner to make the program identify the employee. The second step is to select the task. On the Take the Work tab, you can see that all the tasks are divided into categories, and each specialist chooses exactly the type of work that he or she performs. Let's choose the CTP. We see the list of orders sorted by urgency. In our test database, now there is one order with a single imposition. Here we select to execute it. The third step is to check the information about the work and its position in the whole order. The work already performed under this order is highlighted in green, the current work in orange. Just click the Confirm button and return to the first window. Now we see that CTP's work has disappeared from the left and appeared on the right, where you can see which employee performs various tasks and when he or she started to work. And then the CTP specialist marks if the work is finished partially or completely. The CTP has no circulation output. We enter only the number of prepared plates. Let's also perform the remaining folding. That's it! The workshop has done all the work. Now let's see how this is displayed in the main program window. The work of the workshop for each order is displayed in a special tab, Workshop Activities. Here you see the name of the employee, the work itself, and the result for each imposition. And the program informs the workshop's employee about the improvements in the performance. When all the tasks in the workshop are performed, the order automatically moves to the next status, in stock. Then it is possible to give out manufactured products partially or in full. After that, the status will be set to Released from stock. This is the last status. which shows that the order has successfully passed the whole technological cycle. Our program supports work with large volumes of data. You can easily group orders by certain status or any other column. To do this, just move the title of the desired column to a special area. To display the data again in a tabular view without grouping, move the column back. The program has a whole set of management reports. You can analyze the work of managers with clients. There is a range of reports on the activities of the workshop and its productivity. You can keep stock records in the program and see material balances for any day. There is a feature that allows you to take into account not only the receipt of orders, but also all expenses of the organization. Financial analysis is carried out in terms of products, customers, employees, as well as advertisement. Note that all reports are generated for any period of time, which means that it is possible to analyze the work of the organization for a day, month, and even for the whole year. The program is set up for each company individually, so your logo and requisite details are displayed on the top of each report. In addition to displaying tabular data, our accounting system builds visual charts and graphs. We have shown you only a small part of all the features available in the program. You can find more information on our official website, ususoft.com. We work with organizations around the world. Call or write. Find out how we can automate your organization. See you next time.